Let us begin with a simple question: can God know the future? For many believers, the answer seems obvious. If God is all-knowing, then tomorrow must already be known to him. He must know the choices you will make, the words you will speak, and the events that will shape your life. Nothing can surprise an all-knowing God. Nothing can remain hidden from him. But this creates a difficulty. Tomorrow has not happened yet, and the decisions you will make next week have not been made. The opportunities before you have not yet become realities. So what exactly is God supposed to know? Is the future a completed story that already exists, or is it a field of genuine possibilities still taking shape? The answer may change how we understand both human freedom and divine knowledge. Before we ask whether God knows the future, we need to ask what the future actually is. Most of us think we already understand it. We describe it as tomorrow, next year, or the century to come. But those words do not define the future. They only point toward a part of reality that has not yet arrived. The past is easier to understand because it has already happened. Yesterday is fixed, even when our memories of it are incomplete or mistaken. We cannot return to it and choose differently. The future does not appear to exist in the same way. When tomorrow begins, several paths may still lie before you. You may speak or remain silent, accept an opportunity or refuse it, and take one road rather than another. Until the choice is made, more than one outcome seems possible. This leads to the first major question in our investigation. Are future events already real, waiting for us to experience them? Or does the future consist partly of possibilities that have not yet become facts? For most of history, the answer seemed straightforward. God knows the future because God knows everything. If anything were unknown to him, then his knowledge would be incomplete. This view appears throughout many religious traditions. Prophecies, predictions, and divine promises often assume that future events can already be known. The future may be hidden from us, but it is never hidden from God. At first glance, this idea is reassuring. It suggests that history is not unfolding in darkness or uncertainty. Every event, from the rise of nations to the smallest detail of a human life, remains fully visible to the divine mind. Many philosophers and theologians went even further. They argued that God's knowledge cannot be mistaken, incomplete, or revised. What God knows, he knows perfectly. If this view is correct, then tomorrow is already known with absolute certainty. Not merely guessed, expected, or predicted. Known. For countless believers, this remains the most natural understanding of divine knowledge. An all-knowing God must know the future completely. Anything less would seem to diminish what it means to be God. Yet this traditional answer raises a difficult question. If tomorrow is already known with certainty, can it truly unfold differently? Can a future that is perfectly known still remain open? Imagine that God already knows the exact choice you will make tomorrow afternoon. Suppose that knowledge cannot be mistaken. When tomorrow arrives, are you genuinely free to choose otherwise? At first, it may seem that the answer is yes. After all, no one is forcing your decision. You still experience yourself as choosing freely. But the problem does not disappear so easily. If God already knows that one outcome will occur, then every alternative must ultimately remain unrealized. The future may feel open, yet only one path can actually become reality. Some philosophers have compared this to a book that has already been written. The characters experience each moment as it arrives. Yet the ending already exists. Others reject that comparison entirely. They argue that human choices are not like scenes in a finished story. A genuinely free decision must involve more than a future that merely appears open. But what if we have been making an assumption without realizing it? What if the future is not the same kind of reality as the past? And what if divine knowledge reflects that difference perfectly? Consider a simple example. Yesterday contains facts. Tomorrow may contain possibilities. At this very moment, you may have several genuine options available to you. You might accept an invitation, decline it, postpone it, or choose something else entirely. Until the decision is made, more than one outcome may be possible. If that is true, then perhaps the future is not a collection of hidden facts waiting to be discovered. Perhaps part of the future consists of possibilities that have not yet become realities. They are real possibilities, but they are not yet actual events. Under this view, God's knowledge remains complete and perfect. He knows every possibility, every probability, and every consequence of every possible choice. Nothing escapes his understanding. The question is no longer whether God knows enough. The question becomes whether the future already contains fixed events to be known. If some parts of the future remain genuinely open, then perfect knowledge would know them exactly as they are, open possibilities rather than settled facts. Our investigation has led us to two very different ways of understanding the future. The traditional view holds that future events already exist in a form that can be known with certainty. Under this view, God knows tomorrow because tomorrow is already fully there to be known. The alternative view begins with a different assumption. It suggests that at least part of the future consists of genuine possibilities rather than settled events. If that is true, then divine knowledge would include those possibilities exactly as they are. Both views seek to protect something important. The traditional view emphasizes the perfection and completeness of God's knowledge. The alternative view emphasizes the reality of human freedom and the openness of future choices. The debate, then, may not be about how much God knows. Both sides agree that God's knowledge is perfect. The real disagreement concerns the nature of the future itself. Is the future more like the past, already fixed and complete? Or is it a living horizon of possibilities that gradually becomes reality through time? How we answer that question shapes everything that follows. Perhaps the most important insight is this: a perfect knowledge must correspond perfectly to reality. If some aspects of the future are genuinely open, then knowing them as open possibilities would not be a limitation of knowledge. It would be the highest form of accuracy. We began with a simple question: can God know the future? The answer depends, in part, on what we mean by the future itself. If tomorrow already exists as a completed reality, then perfect knowledge would include every event that is yet to occur. But if part of the future consists of genuine possibilities, then perfect knowledge would include those possibilities exactly as they are. Perhaps the deepest lesson is that divine knowledge and human freedom do not necessarily stand in opposition. The apparent conflict may arise from assumptions about the nature of time, possibility, and reality itself. The debate remains unresolved. Philosophers and theologians have wrestled with it for centuries, and thoughtful people continue to reach different conclusions. Yet the question endures because it touches something fundamental about our existence. Are we moving toward a future that is already fixed? Or are we helping to shape a future that remains in some measure open? That is a question worth examining.